ball.
Hello everyone and welcome to dreary Clermont, Florida on what could be a sunnier day, but actually some nice weather. It's nice and cool out and the boys don't have to risk getting a sunburn today. As we take in the weather here, some of our fans are excited to be here. Taking a look around, you can see this is quite a hilly area of Florida. Florida widely considered the flattest state in the Union. A lot of hills here, reminds you of up north. Clermont, Florida. Today, South Florida is going to take on Florida Rush, who is based out of Clermont. This is one of the many Rush teams within the state of Florida. As you may remember, we've taken on the Kendall Rush, and there is also a team in Delray, although not part of the MLS Next, Delray Rush as well. So South Florida is set to take them on today as we take a look at the lineup. We have Nick, Kawa, and Gavin up front, along with Mateo, Brian back in the lineup, and Julian in that midfield, with Big John playing on left back today, along with Lano, Idan, and Matthew, with Valentino starting in the goal. So, big lineup today for Coach Greg as he takes on this Florida Rush team. Not doing too bad as Florida Rush, as they're right around the middle of the pack as well as we are. And looking for that big win on the road today, as South Florida had a couple of good home games to speak of, taking on West Florida Flames and the Chargers, coming away with 1-1 in those home games. So quite a little bit of a trip up here, about 2.5, 3 hours to get to Clermont. It's just north of Orlando. And I think the boys are excited today because they took this team on last year on the road, and the game got called early as a result of a lightning storm in the area. So a little bit of unfinished business with Florida Rush this year, and we're hoping to take it to them and try to make a game of it today, as weather was a factor last year. While it might be cloudy today, I do not believe that lightning is going to be an issue. So with that being said, let's take a look at our sponsor, which is Sideline Shutterbug. Sideline Shutterbug bringing you all the shots from this game and others to Instagram. So try to follow Sideline Shutterbug when you can and get some of those shots or make requests for the game, as they'll try to fulfill them as best they can. Sideline_Shutterbug. Click and subscribe on Instagram. As the team huddles up here, Coach Greg giving some last words of wisdom. Coach Klitsch here from our 2008 team. They took on the Florida Rush just prior to our game, and that game ended in a tie, I believe. Very competitive game coming down to the wire, as South Florida looked poised to get the win, just couldn't find the back of the net, as I'm sure it's a source of frustration, not only for the players but for the coach as well. 2009 boys hoping to make the best of their game today, come away with a win, as they have a long talk here. I'm sure they're trying to get themselves pumped up for the game as best they can. All right, here we go, hands in. We're about to kick things off here. This facility has about 3 fields worth of space, although they only appear to be using 2 fields today, as I believe our 2010 team is taking on the Rush on the field behind us. And as we get ready for a kickoff, and it's going to be South Florida ball. Nick kicks it back to Idan, sends the ball long and into Florida Rush territory. Keeper out to pick it up as Kawa applies the pressure. Calmly out to the Florida Rush left side now. Gavin now charging up the field, applying some pressure to the number 5 of Florida Rush. Now Nick, and it's back to the keeper. Keeper under a little bit of stress. He decides to put the ball up the middle and find some friendly feet, as Julian comes now to apply the pressure on the left side. Here comes Lano one-on-one with the number 56, left wing for Florida Rush. He looks to be a dangerous player. As they play to the middle, 13 gets a nice ball into number 10. This could be trouble. Shot. John blocks it in front of the goal and kicks it away. Oh man, that could have been dangerous within this first minute here. Florida Rush with a goal-striking opportunity that is deflected by John and sent the other way. Florida Rush now in control of the ball once again in their own half. This could be trouble. as Florida Rush brings it down to the left side. Number 56 again on the ball. Matthew there to try to stop him. Gets a foot to it, but not enough to deflect it. He holds off until Lano's able to clear it. Nick now in control. One-time pass to Gavin. Gavin with room on the right side. He's got space to go. He cuts it back and finds the pass to Mateo. Mateo now playing the ball across to John. John working that left side. Looking for help. Finds Kawa. Kawa back to John. Are they going to work it back? They will. Lano now in control of the ball. Going back to John. John looking to play it longer. Back to Edon now. And Edon looking to Matthew. Matthew up to Mateo. Mateo finds the space and hits Gavin for a nice long ball. Number 5 from Rush puts it out of play. Well, so far so good as we take another look at this. John with the deflection right at his hip and is able to clear that ball pretty quickly. Thank goodness for South Florida. As Matthew takes a throw in here to Nick. Nick trying to create some space down there in the corner. And Florida Rush are swarming around, but Nick still comes away with it. Nick in the box now. Gets the ball poked away, and it's cleared by the Rush, but not too far, as Brian's there to get a foot to it. Julian able to play it back to John. So now Florida Rush trying to get out of their own field as South Florida applies more pressure. And Rush able to come away with it now. Rush on the move, the number 10. Plays the ball up to the right side. Lano in pursuit. Able to get a foot to it. Shield off the ball for John. And John's going to play it out of touch. Ooh, so far, very lively game. As I expected it to be. As Kawan now goes in to apply some pressure. May be able to come away with it. But does not win the throw. Oh no, overruled. Line judge called it out for the Rush, but the main referee called it for South Florida. As John throws this one back to Lano. Lano plays it long. Finds Nick in the middle. Nick with a little bit of space, but under some pressure. Has to play it back to Julian. Julian over to Lano. I'm sorry, Edon. Edon, head up. Long ball. Looking for Gavin. Can he get him? And this one's just going to... Oh, just not going to get there in time. Gavin had the jets on, just wasn't fast enough in order to get to that ball as it goes out of bounds for a goal kick. Alright, Rush take it short. And playing it out to the right side to the big number 4. Who plays it off of Kawa for a throw-in. Alright, long throw coming. As the number 10 tries to bring it down with his foot, but Brian's there to pick it up. Doesn't get very far though. As John now on the ball, trying to play it back. Lano pinging it forward. Mateo now on the ball in the middle of the field. Mateo with some moves, trying to get into the box. Managed to find the right side. Looking for some space to operate. Plays it back to Matthew. Matthew into the middle to Julian. Julian working around. Plays it out to the right side. Gavin back into the box. Nobody there. Florida Rush now on the run. Can the defense get back? Edon confronting the ball. Mateo there to assist. Ball's played back. Rush now controlling the ball. Playing back to their keeper. Nick coming up to apply the pressure. Ball is played long. Kawa there to get ahead to it. Julian with feet. Finding Lano. Lano to Edon. Edon with some trouble in the middle. He's getting confronted by 2. Matthew comes away with it. Plays the ball into the middle of Mateo. One-touch pass to Gavin. Gavin now on the ball. Trying to find Mateo on the run. Can't do it. And the Rush come away with it once again. Rush now controlling the ball in the middle of the field. Looking long. Matthew there for the deflection to Edon. Edon puts the ball forward up the middle. Finds Nick. Nick tried to make a touch. Took a slip. And the Florida Rush get the ball back. Rush again on the attack. 56 plays it back. A little bit of trouble with the ball, number 14, but able to find his footing. Plays it out to number 4. Number 4 up the field. Dinking the ball over John, and Lano there to head it away to safety. Throwing by the Rush. Down the line. Lano there to cover on the number 10. Oh, commits a little bit of a foul there. The first foul of the game. Lano did make a little bit of contact there with the left leg of the Florida Rush player. So first free kick. we'll see what the Rush do here. They play the ball into the box. Lionel there to head it away. Brian trying to get control of it, maneuvering around the player. Able to get in some open space here. Plays the ball down the line for Nick, but can't find him. And Florida Rush now back on the attack. Florida Rush under pressure by Mateo. Mateo comes away with it. Plays it over to Gavin. Gavin misses his footing, but able to recover the ball. Gavin with some footwork on the right side. Plays the ball on the space for Mateo. Mateo is trying to get there, but can't get around this big number 4, who takes up a lot of space. As we take another look at this clearance by Lano on that free kick. It pays to be big, folks. As goalie plays this one out to the Florida Rush. Down the line again to number 10. The diminutive number 20 in possession of the ball for Florida Rush. It seems they like to have him in control of the ball, but are forced to play this ball back. Working the other side of the field now are the Rush, under pressure from South Florida, and commit the mistake of kicking it into touch. As Matthew gets ready to throw this ball in, he sees Gavin on the right side. He's covered by 3 players. He pops it up in the air, and keeper for Rush comes out and collects. So a little bit of a slowdown from the earlier heart-pounding moments of this game where Florida Rush threatened South Florida's goal early on, but so far South Florida able to regain their footing and control of this game to where now it seems like it's pretty evenly matched. Rush trying to pass this ball in the middle. Referee says play on and then foul. And Rush now working the right side of South Florida. Nowhere to go. Passing it back. Rush now working the middle of the field. Edon applying the pressure. Mateo jumping into a challenge. No foul called. Nick coming away with this one on the left side. Nick got his head up. He's looking in the middle. Gavin's making a run. Can't get there. Ball again deflected back to Edon. Edon in control now. Picks his head up, looks and finds Matthew. Matthew, quick one touch into Gavin. Gavin returns the ball back to Matthew. Matthew with the cross. Nobody there, headed down by Florida Rush. Gavin back on the ball. Florida Rush trying to get out of their own half. Gavin with a nice slide tackle from behind, but doesn't come away with the ball. Turnover to Mateo. Mateo to Nick. Nick with some space in the box. Shoot. Goal! South Florida. Goalie got a hand to it, but it wasn't enough to stop that shot from Nick. And it put South Florida ahead 1-0 early on here in the first 10 minutes of this game. Wow. South Florida, at first, they were getting me a little nervous with that shot on goal by Florida Rush. But they just come away with one here from the pressure they've been applying. And Nick able to outmaneuver that big number 4. Goalie gets a hand to it, and it just drops into the goal. That's got to be a heartbreaker for him. As Nick and Edon come over to celebrate in front of the camera. What a goal. Great way to start for South Florida against this Florida Rush team. And we'll see what the rest of this game holds for us as kickoff has now commenced. All right, Florida Rush playing it back. Let's see if they come out a little bit more aggressive now being down 1-0. Still early on in the game. Playing this across their center backs and up the right side. Number 10 in control of the ball for the Rush. Getting the ball to number 13. And there's going to be a foul called there. I think Brian just got a piece of his leg. Just a little piece. Not a big piece. Little nibble. But enough for the referee to call it. Quick start by the Rush. Holding true to their name. Rushing. As the number 20 dribbles this ball in the space. Tries to lay off the pass, but Edon read it well. Matthew now in control, bringing the ball out to the right side of South Florida. Puts the ball up in the air. Looking for Nick on the run, can't find him. And this ball still out, no, out of bounds. Handball call on Gavin. And Rush with another free kick, take it short. Ooh, that could be dangerous. Nick almost came away with that one too. Rush seemed to be a little discombobulated here. As number 10 now in possession. Back to number 20. 20 seems to have switched the side of the field that he's working on. Rush trying to find a weakness. As they try to play this ball again down the line. Uh-oh, number 56 comes away with it, and this kid's got some wheels, but not fast enough as Don shows him the business and comes away with the ball. Matthew now on the ball, passing it up to Gavin. Gavin with a little bit of space. Matthew trying for the overlap. Has to stop short to collect the ball. Plays it back to Gavin. Gavin into Mateo. Mateo trying to get it to Nick. And looks like Florida Rush made a little bit of a mistake there. Nick with the shot. Oh! And it's clear by Florida Rush. Oh, man, I thought somebody was going to put that in on the left side. But unable to do so as the Rush defenders got back quickly. And now John in possession on the left side. Playing over to Kawa. Kawa trying to shield the ball. Plays it back. John now, head up, finds Julian in the middle of the field. Julian surveying the land. Plays it back to Edon. Edon with time and space in the middle. A shot. And it's going to be wide of the goal for a goal kick. So South Florida looking to put number 2 in the back of the old onion bag. And so far looking like they might be able to do it. As the pressure has continued to mount here on this Rush team. As they try to play this ball out of the back. Gavin and Nick both applying pressure to the ball. Oh, there's a loose ball in the middle of the field. Edon again comes away with it, takes another shot. This one goes over the goal. Well, I will tell you, that was a missed opportunity right there. But Edon did have the space and time. I don't blame the big guy for taking a shot on that one. As again, Rush play out of the back under considerable pressure here from South Florida. Not finding any safe harbor. As Kawa now able to break that ball loose. Rush forced to play long. Lano now in control of the ball. Passes back to Edon. Edon with time. Makes the pass to Julian in the middle of the field. He is immediately swarmed, but still comes away with the ball. Gets it off to Brian. Brian with a deflection off of his leg. Rush recover and kick this ball to the sideline and eventually into touch. Coming up on the water break. Think that the boys have earned it. As we wait for this throw in. No changes made by Coach Greg as of yet. South Florida seems to be firing on all cylinders. As Lano now in possession of this ball. He looks long. Nobody there. Rush in control. Rush now looking for that pass in the middle. Almost had it poked away by Mateo. And Mateo's going to commit the foul in the midfield. Almost got that ball off to Nick. That could have been another run. Mateo got a little handsy with the midfielder there and got blown for the whistle. Number 20 again in possession of this ball for the Rush. And tries to play it with number 10 but can't do it. And the Rush continue to move slowly up the field, being very conservative. Only looking for the best opportunity possible to move this ball forward. Possession, 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 the name of the game. As they kick this ball out of bounds. Matthew's going to run up to try to take this throw and see if we can get them off balance. As they certainly seem frustrated. Mateo trying to regain control of the ball. Ball pass back. And back to the Rush keeper. Playing over to the right side. Back over to the right. Rush now moving forward. They got a little bit of space here. This could be dangerous. Lano looking onto the ball. Ball gets to number 20. 20 makes a turn. Mateo applying pressure. No foul. Gavin comes away with it. Gavin up to Nick. Here comes South Florida. Nick over to Matthew. Matthew plays it back to Edon. Edon moving forward. Edon looking up. Plays the ball into space, but there's a whistle. And it looks like it's going to be a foul on Edon. Surprised the referee didn't let play on there. As Edon gets a nice push on the back. Trying to play this ball up to Nick. Unless that was going to be an offside call, I'm kind of surprised the referee didn't let that one play through, as this ball's played over to John on the left side. John dribbles the ball out of bounds. But wait a minute, line judge is saying that it's South Florida throw. So far, a couple of generous calls here for South Florida, at least on the touchline. As John throws this one forward, Nick heads it on for Kawa. Kawa's got room here. He's trying to play it back into the box. He finds Mateo. Mateo gets a foot to it. Just puts it up into the air. Unfortunately, not on target. But a nice little sequence of events there to try to get that ball into the goal. As the ball's thrown in by Rush, they just kick it out of bounds. And we're going to have another South Florida throw. Matthew into Brian, who's been relatively quiet as of yet. Plays it back to Matthew. Matthew into Mateo. Mateo playing back to Edon. Edon looking up. Plays the ball long. Looking for Kawhi on the run, but rush player was there. Brian able to get this ball into Nick. This could be goal number 2. Shot! Oh, just wide of the goal. Man, it doesn't come much closer than that, ladies and gentlemen, as this one just sails just outside of the bar. Oh, man. That looked like it had goal written all over it. Rush now again playing out of their back. South Florida so far relentless in its attack here as the South Rush give it away again. Mateo plays it into Nick. Nick again on goal. Gives it up. Tries to get it to Mateo. Can't find him. Brian now in possession of it. Brian got the ball on his right foot. Trying to play it into the box. Deflection by a Rush player. 20 clears it to 56. 20 definitely out of his element as he's been up in the midfield the whole time. 56 now galloping forward. Good control of the ball, 56, as he plays this ball into the middle. Number 8 for the Rush plays it up the field. John there to intercept. Gives it off to Julian. Julian now looking around. Finds Matthew out to the right side. Matthew with his head up. Plays the ball long. And a nice bit of space here for Gavin. As Gavin cuts inside to number 5. And he's got space in the box. He tries to take a shot with his left foot. It takes a deflection. Mateo comes in. Oh, it looks like he gets clipped. Matthew takes a shot. And it's over the goal. And Mateo is down. As we take another look at this, you can see Gavin takes a shot here. Takes a deflection from the Rush player. They put it right up into the middle. And, oh yeah, that Rush player definitely got a piece of Mateo there. As we're glad to see that Mateo's back on his feet, but definitely limping, and he's got his shoe off. I don't know if that's going to be it for him today. That should have definitely been called a foul. But it doesn't appear that this referee sees it the same way, as he's basically giving them a goal kick based off of Matthew's shot. I guess he's going to call it a continuance of play. And here we go, goal kick. And here comes the Rush, playing the ball up the long way, up the middle. Brian comes away with this one. Trying to find somebody to get the ball to, unable to do so, as Mora has checked in now for Mateo. Rush now, possession of the ball in the middle. Edon there to get a foot to the ball. Plays it out to Gavin. Edon now on the run. He could go all the way. He likes to get up forward. He is now at the line. He's looking to make a cross, cuts it in, and I think he just cut it in a little too much as this ball rolls out of touch for another goal kick. Good run by Edon. Trying to take advantage of this porous Rush defense so far. Although they are coming together when it matters. And trying to play this ball to the back. And balls into touch for a Rush throw. Rush brought more players back in support as they have 4 players around this throw-in. As Mora gets a foot to this one and plays it out of bounds. I think they're just trying to have more available players in order to make passes to, in order to get this ball into an area where they can do some damage. As this ball gets turned over to Nick again. Nick and then on the box. Tries to take a shot. 14 came from behind and blocked that one for a corner. Oh man, Nick is having quite a few opportunities here. And South Florida looks very dangerous in this first half. Mora with the corner. Header by Kawad goes into the box, but not a threat on goal. Edon comes away with it, plays it over to Mora. Mora got it on his left foot. He plays that one into the box, but right at the keeper. Keeper urging his players to move forward. Trying to get some reprieve. He may play this ball long. Let's see. He does. He's going to punt it up the field. No bounce rule into effect. As Edon heads that one forward. Rush still able to maintain control, though having a difficult time of it with Brian and Julian there. And Rush come away. Rush just trying to put it into a space where they think their players can get to. So far not having much luck. As South Florida controls this ball. Coach Greg urging them to go forward. John puts a nice ball up the field into space. Rush keeper quick to come off his line and collect that one. That one could have been number 2 very easily. But an aware keeper, it makes all the difference in these games as he comes out quickly to stop that one. Rush now again playing out of the back. Big number 4 gets it off. Rush trying to work this right side now. Lano there to close that down. John now in possession. Plays the ball up to Mora. Mora up to Nick. Rush trying to get back as South Florida fills their backfield. Number 4 again clears this ball up the field. Number 10 there. Trying to corral it. Shielding off Julian. Finds some help. And now the Rush have the ball in the middle of the field. Nick back from up front, trying to help out as Brian recovers to his position. And Rush forced to play it back. Gavin now up, trying to get the ball. 56, working this left side, got some fast feet. As, whoa, where did this player come from? He's just lingering there on the left side. Matthew now against number 56, trying to contain him. And able to win that ball. And now he's charging up the sideline. He plays the ball up for Nick. Nick being challenged. Oh, two players now on top of him. And it looks like Nick's going to be blown for a foul. Little handsy. Got his hands up there near the head. I don't think that's going to be allowed in any sport, really, except for football. Rush take their kick short. Trying to work this sideline. They've added a few more players up top. I guess in an effort to try to tie this game up. And Rush forced to play back. So good holding off by South Florida. Force this ball back into the Rush territory. Uh-oh, that could be a mistake. Bouncing ball back to the keeper. Oh, under pressure. Brian able to come away with this one. Trying to find a pass. Can't do it. And fighting for the ball. Fortunately, cannot control it. As Rush again trying to get this ball out to the left side. Oh, stumbled by the Rush player. Still able to maintain possession. As Rush are looking and looking and looking. Trying to find feet. And are able to do so. As it appears they've overloaded this left side. Rush playing the ball through. Valentino there. He's going to cautiously jump down on it. Not a lot of work for Valentino as a result of this South Florida defense. The only thing that came is in the first minute, which John was able to deal with. And Edon sends this one long. Rush keeper able to come out and pick it up. Rush keeper seeing a considerable amount of action here. Got to say his positioning has been very much on point as a couple balls have gone just wide of the goal. And the one that did go in, he got a foot to. As it looks like we're going to get a handball call here. And Edon's going to take this one pretty quickly. Puts it into the space. Looking for Matthew, just a little too far ahead of him, and it's going to go out for a goal kick. Rush keeper with the ball on the ground. Plays it short. Rush made a couple different changes here to their defense. They moved the number 4 now out to the left back and move some other personnel around as they try to find a key to unlock the door here of the South Florida defense. And now here goes that right back, number 4, playing the ball up the field. A little bit of space here, but John and Lano, again, shutting it down pretty effectively as Lano comes away with the ball here. Oh, run into some traffic. Rush could be dangerous here as they get numbers forward. South Florida quick to come back. Number 10's unmarked in the box. That could be a dangerous. Cross. 20 gets a foot to it and ricochets off number 10, and Valentino picks it up pretty quickly. Number 10's wishing he got that one back. That was a little dangerous. As Edon comes away with this one and is starting to run up the field. South Florida players all pushing forward. As Edon puts this one on the ground to Nick. Nick with a little bit of space, but it's quickly taken up. He's able to dribble out to the middle. He puts a nice ball through the center. Mora trying to get on it. And Rush forced to push it out for a throw. As we take another look at this cross by the Florida Rush, you can see just how close this came. Number 10 got a left foot to it. I'm sorry, his right foot to it. And man, if he had just been more aware and took a shot, I think that would have been 1-1. As the throw-in comes, Mora now on the ball with his left foot, takes a nice shot, curling effort, but to the goalie. And he's able to bat that one down and control. Well, if I were keeping stats in this game, I would say that we statistically had the advantage in both shots and for the most part, passing. Possession-wise, I would say they would have to go to the Rush, but they've mainly possessed it in their own half of their field, giving the ball away when it counts. As this ball is put down the line by Edon, Rush player able to get there. Gavin now applying some pressure. And the ball comes up the field. Mora with a little bit of pushing and shoving there. Nothing wrong with that. It is a contact sport. Gavin trying to poke the ball away. This ball goes into Matthew, who's able to intercept, but gives the ball back. 56 still in control, able to charge down this field. Edon is there, and Edon is not going to let him pass as he comes with a sweeping slide tackle to clear this ball and away from number 56. Don's done that a time or two this season. As the throw-in comes, Matthew able to kick it free again. And another throw. Florida Rush looking again, trying to put this ball into some dangerous situations. This one right at Gavin's chest. Rush still in possession. Matthew applying pressure. Here comes the cross. Brian there to chest it away. And Edon to clear it to Mora, who falls down on the ball. Plays it across, but there's nobody there except for a Rush player. This could be interesting. Rush now, charging forward. Top of the box, number 10. Cuts inside. Oh no, there's contact. Oh man, folks, I think that's right on the edge of the box. The referee is indicating for a penalty. I don't know, that's pretty close. Sideline judge immediately threw the flag up. Nothing you can do there. Let's hope that Valentino can save this. Not many penalties this season for MLS. There have been a few. Valentino typically isn't in the goal on these. We'll see how he does as we were waiting for the kick. Here we go. And he's got the save! Valentino with the save, and he kicks it clear! Oh, man. Referee comes over, immediately gives Valentino a yellow card. I guess he said something maybe a little obscene to the player on the ground, but I can't blame him for having some emotions. We take another look at this block. Wow, right to the left of him, and he parries it away and then gets up to his feet quickly and just kicks that ball clear. That's what we teach at South Florida, ladies and gentlemen, with our premier goalie program. And, man, Valentino, quick reaction, saving this game so far. And another ball into him as he calmly collects that. And maintains the lead for South Florida as we approach halftime here. Still 1-0. He rolls this one out to Edon. Edon, not under too much pressure, plays this ball over to Matthews. Immediately met with a Rush player who calmly kicks it over to Julian. Julian with time and space in the middle. Plays it up to Nick, who tries to one-time it to Moro, who was on the run. Back to Edon. Edon playing the ball forward. Nice ball from Edon. This is right in front of Nick, but the number 4 from Rush comes over, heads it down and away, and kicks it clear. Wow, what an impactful play by the Rush player. As Nick looked all but sure to be on goal with that one until he intervened. Another corner by Mora. This one's a little bit lower, but in a dangerous spot nonetheless as John's trying to get his head on that ball. Mora gets it back into the box. Nick now on it. Nick taking a shot. It's on target, but an easy save by the goalie as he lands on it. And he urges his players to get forward. Doesn't look like they're going to be playing out of the back this time. And he kicks it long and up the middle of the field. Ball bouncing into the center. Lano there to meet it with his knee. Mora now in control, but loses it. And South Florida is trying to get this ball back. There's a Florida Rush player down on the ground. Referee's going to stop play. I don't believe it was a head contact. Maybe something to do with his leg. He's back up and off on the sideline. Rush get a drop ball. Rush now trying to find something in the middle. Can't do it. And ball played out of bounds by the Rush. Now it's going to be a South Florida throw. JC has checked in for Kwa. He's out on the field now. Playing that left side. Ball thrown in to Julian. Julian playing it back to Lano. Lano up to John. John looking around, finds Julian. Nico's waiting on the sideline to check in. Julian playing it back to Edon. A little bit of divots in the ground here as you can see the ball bouncing on these easy ground passes. Mora trying to get this one over to Martin, who has checked in for Gavin, but it appears that he's going to be called for what I think is going to be an offside. Yeah, going to be an offside call on Martin. Martin trying to corral this pass. Rush forced to kick it up in the air. Brian comes down with it, plays it back to Matthew. Matthew into Mora. Mora looking, trying to find JC. Can't do it. We're now running for the ball. And here come the Rush. Rush in the middle of the field. They don't got too many players forward, but they have them in some dangerous spots as Julian's able to snake that ball away, but he's called for the foul. Edon is mad about this call. Let's see. Lano gets a foot to it. And it looks like the Rush player runs into his leg. I can't blame him for being mad about that. As it awards a free kick for the Rush in a dangerous spot. They put the ball into the box. Edon gets a head to it, but it's going to cost us a corner. Edon able to clear this ball. Again, pays to be tall, people. if you can do it, I'd certainly suggest trying to get there. Here comes the corner from the rush. It's low. And clear by Brian up to JC. JC trying to shield off his defender. And who pokes it away from him. Back into the box go the rush. But Valentino calmly collects this one and rolls it out to Matthew. Valentino urging the players to get forward. Matthew running with the ball. Got time and space. Plays it into Nick, who's wide open in the center. One touch to Mora. Mora trying to return it back. Can't do it, and the rush are able to clear. Well, it looked like the rush were sleeping there, as nobody seemed to be covering anybody, but now it looks like they're coming back with a vengeance. As this ball's played into space, the flag's going to go up. Wow, I think that's a close call. As the ball goes into the net, we'll take another look. Yeah, whoa, just by a hair. Good call by the referee. Because I got to tell you, I don't know if I'd make that same call. That is a tough one. But luck be a lady tonight, and it's definitely on the side of South Florida, at least for this first half. As a penalty is saved and an offside call that resulted in a goal is given, saving us from another 1-1 tie, potentially. Dawn with the long free kick. Finds the feet of JC. JC passing the ball back under pressure to John. John trying to get through his defender. Can't do it. Nico has now checked in for Julian. Nico in the middle of the field. Trying to win that ball. Can't do it against this 56, who has now switched some more to the center position. He's dribbling down the field. Nice little cutback. And looks like a foul is going to be called here against Nico. There's the first contact that I saw, but no foul called. Looks like it was all ball. And then we're going to take another look at this one. And yeah, it looks like Nico's just going to run headlong into that player. No fault of his own, but fortunately a foul is given. Another free kick by the Rush. This one trying to go for goal, but off target. No threat to Valentino. As we get another goal kick. Valentino with his usual run over of the ball. Plays it over to Idan. Idan over to Lano. Lano playing it up to John. John back to Lano. Lano back to Idan. No real pressure from the Rush. Seem to be content with us playing it between our center backs. As Idan gives it back to Lano. Lano not liking what he sees. Plays it back over to Idan. Back over to Lano. Quite a game of ping ball we're playing here. And back over to Idan. Now with a little bit of space, Idan takes it. Tries to play it into the gap for Mora, but can't find him. But it ends up eventually finding Nick. And now the Rush player shielding Martin, who's called for a foul. Surprisingly. I see Martin's on top of the player. But, oh yeah, maybe a little bit of the pulling of the arm there. But overall, kind of a soft foul. Rush now playing in the backfield. Again, change of personnel somewhat. This 14 that has been played mostly in the left back. He's now moved up to a midfield position. As JC heads this ball down for Nico. Nico up to Brian. Brian looking for JC. Can't find him. Rush now in possession in the middle of the field. Rush content with just finding feet right now, regardless of where it is on the field, and just moving a little bit at a time. Definitely a game for patience for the Rush, as they are in no hurry, it appears, as the 1-0 score is not insurmountable. If they were getting beat 3-0, I could see them panicking. As halftime comes, the boys are congratulating Valentino on his penalty save. Sure, they're all happy about that, being still up 1-0 at halftime. Coach Greg's going to be getting the boys together here to discuss some strategy, I'm sure. As take a look at Mateo, he clearly had some ice on his foot. Well, hopefully he's going to be better relatively soon, at least for the next matchup. So, Coach Greg, I'm not really sure if there's much to correct here. They're doing really well, the boys. Applying a lot of pressure. Rush seemed to not have any answers, although they've made many changes to personnel and potential formations. Doesn't seem that they found that key to unlock the door to the goal. At least with Valentino in there, he seems to be pretty formidable for this challenge. So we'll see what the Rush do when they come out. It's kind of a guessing game till then. I don't know if Coach Greg's going to make any changes to this game plan, because everything seems to be working. I'm sure he'd be happy to be a few more goals up on some of the missed opportunities that the Rush have had, but I'm sorry, missed opportunities that Florida have had. But he's still got to be happy with the overall product, because I have to tell you, South Florida has been in control of this game. Regardless of the possession stats, South Florida has definitely shown to be the more aggressive and competent team here today over the Rush. So as we start the second half, we'll see what changes that the Rush have made. And it appears that the big number 4 now is in a striker position, and the number 10 has moved more to a midfield. And the 56 has also moved up to the front of the field as 10 tries to play this out to the left. Martin is there to chest it down. And looking for someone to play the ball to. Gets wrapped up and twisted. And referee's going to blow his whistle for a foul for South Florida. So the first foul of the second half goes South Florida's way. Kind of hard to argue that one, as looked like a jiu-jitsu takedown in the middle of the field. And E.D just chipping this one over to Matthew. Matthew trying to get a foot to it. Can't do it as before 14 got there. And this ball ping-ponging around and eventually going into touch at the South Florida bench. So throw it for South Florida. See if the change really affects them much, as they're already starting in rush territory. Bryant trying to cut between the two defenders, still able to maintain possession. Now facing a third and wins a foul. Number 14 coming in pretty hard. Let's take another look. Yeah, just cuts out his legs right out from under him. That's going to be a foul any day of the week. All right, Brian's placing this one on the ground. Mora takes it quickly, finds Matthew, who's got some space, looking for the cross. And he looks like he's off target as this one goes out to the side. Well, that was a good setup. I'd like to see more of that. Quick action before the teams get into setup, as Rush play this one short. And let's see. Looks like the same relative game plan from the Rush as they pass this ball along the back. Up the field. E.D heads this one down. JC, gives it back to the Rush. This is trouble. Rush number 56, who's a dangerous player, cuts across, puts a shot into the box. Valentino there to get on top of it. Well, that 56 is definitely the danger man for the Rush, as he makes a quick move into the space and gets a cut across, looking for that number 4. Can't find him as E.D plays his ball out to John. John back to E.D. E.D is going to kick this long, but only finds the out of bounds. So take another look at this cross. 56 puts in. Valentino quick to come off his line and collect that one before number 4 can make a play on it, and potentially saving a goal. So here we go by the Rush again, giving the ball away. JC trying to find Brian. Brian again swarmed by at least 2 Rush defenders. Gives the ball away in a dangerous spot as this finds number 10. Number 10 still in possession. Finds another player, number 20. 20 trying to work out to the left side. Finds a player. Matthew over there to contest him. He tries to play it in. And looks like, Matthew is going to win a goal kick. So a good play by Matthew to shield that ball. Rush player trying to get in there. I'd say it's borderline committing a foul. As this ball's put down for E.D. E.D plays it over to John. John with some space plays the ball into Mora. Mora with the ball on his favored left foot. Plays it up to JC. Overlapping JC are Mora and John. JC getting attacked by a couple of Rush players who put the ball into a nice bit of space here. Valentino kind of caught in the middle. Good thing E.D got back, because that could have been potentially dangerous. Oh no, giveaway in the middle. Number 10 now charging up the field. E.D trying to get back. Lano missteps. Matthew can't get there, and it's a goal. Oh man. Well, unfortunately, they got burned there. South Florida making a lot of good plays. Number 10 just comes away with the ball here. And I think Lano just takes a misstep on the field and just couldn't recover. Matthew tried to come over. He couldn't get there in time. And Valentino just caught flat-footed, and the goal is in the back of the net. Well, folks, 1-1. Here we go. South Florida trying to get the ball back into a space. Hopefully they don't panic, because this game is still winnable. They've had many opportunities in the first half. I'm sure they'll have many opportunities in the second as Martin comes away with this ball, plays it back to Matthew. Matthew back to Edon. Edon looking up, finds Mora. Rush players seem to be right on top of the South Florida players now, reinvigorated by their goal as they play this ball around and are playing back safely to maintain the possession. Rush playing out to the right side. JC trying to get the ball back. Ball played up. That big number 4 is now switched over to the right side. John's there to take the ball away. Well, the Rush a little bit more confident now, obviously, as they take this throw in. The number 4 trying to make a play of it and kicks the ball in the touch. Not the most coordinated, but definitely one of the bigger players for the Rush team, as they seem to have quite a few smaller players. But number 4 definitely making an impact so far, as it seems that the defenders for South Florida are concerned about him. As Nick trying to come away with this ball. Mora plays it up the field. JC's in space here. He's one-on-one, trying to take the player on. Passes it off, finds Brian. Brian now trying to cut between 2 defenders. Plays it off to Nick. Nick with the shot, but it gets deflected. JC now on top of it. Can he play it in? He does, and it takes the deflection out for a corner. Whoa. I think we should have had one there. Luckily, the Rush players got back to defend that ball. Otherwise, I think that was a 2-1 goal. Referee having to break up a dispute inside the box. Looks like some yellow cards may be given here as the referee's reaching for his pocket. Doesn't seem to do so. And we're going to have this corner coming shortly as JC lines up for it. And into the box it goes. Missed header by Edon. Falls in there. Goes up and down. Martin blocking the kick. And it looks like he's going to be called for a handball. As we take another look. Yeah, it looks like his right hand was up and blocked the kick. Rush playing out of their back. Sticking with their game plan of possession. No pressure, not as much pressure from South Florida as in the previous half. This ball finds its way back in our own backfield. Edon kicked it up in the air. He's got to get back underneath this one. Heads it wide and into touch. I don't know if it's fatigue or if a change in strategy. But some of the step looks to be out of the South Florida players. As Martin's trying to address this ball, but getting shielded off by the Rush player. Brian coming over to help, forcing the pass. Rush now working the middle of the field. Mora there to break up that pass. Rush player down on the ground as this ball gets played in, and the referee's going to stop play again because it looks like the Rush player is holding his head. And yeah, from that replay, Mora might have caught him incidentally in the head with an elbow. And here we have a drop ball, and that player's allowed back in. Ball played out again for a Rush throw. Rush, smelling blood in the water, are starting to attack a little bit more ferociously now, as they're committing some more players forward than usual. The number 4 now in the corner of the field plays it off John. Looks like it's going to be a corner for the Rush. Well, you got to be worried about a player like this number 4 being in the box, but Rush played short, now long. That ball didn't seem to be a threat. Rush still come away with it at the top of the box. This could be trouble, as Lano's there to break it up. Rush player continues to take it out to the side. Number 20 now with the ball. Back to 19. 19 looking for a cross. Under pressure from Lano. Able to get it across the goal. Deflected by Nico. Another deflection. Shot. Hits the number 10, and the number 10 shoots and scores. And South Florida is desperately looking for an offsides, but it looks like Lano may have been keeping him onside. I don't think that's a fault of his own. He was trying to protect that cross that the number 19 gave, and the ball took several deflections, landing at the number 10's foot. I don't even think that was an intention. I think there was a shot that hit the number 10, and then he controlled the ball and shot. But irregardless, we're at 2-1. And I have heard from the Veo operator that that was an onside correct call. Lano was keeping him onside. Again, I don't think it was his intention, but it is a legitimate goal as we get another offside call here for South Florida against the number 4. Edon lining up to take the free kick. Still plenty of time in this game. South Florida should not panic as of yet, as this ball is played around in the middle by the Rush, giving it away eventually to Martin. Martin trying to make a turn, finds Brian, looking for the give and go. Rush players at swarm and attack, and it looks like Martin's going to get called for the foul here, as he's pushing and pulling on the number 20 of the Rush. Rush now again. Two quick goals from the Rush. They've got to be flying high here, as Brian goes over one of the Rush players, but no foul called, and the Rush are on the attack again. Let's hope that this isn't going to be 3-1 with the way this Rush team is going after the ball. Number 4 now in possession on the right side. He's cutting inside. Pass not there, as he gave it to Adon. JC tries to clear with a header, hits Mora. Mora now running into 2 Rush players. Rush players seem to be everywhere as we try to get this ball clear, and there's going to be a foul called. As we take a look at this play here, number 14 just comes up and body checks Brian, but no foul called. And there's the foul on Mora, as the Rush player took him out by the feet. Long kick, but unfortunately goes to nowhere. Well, South Florida, I think, is looking for that wonder goal. I think they just need to settle down, make their passes, and work this ball like they worked in the first half. And I think it'll work out for them, as the Rush try to maintain possession of this ball, using the big number 4 to shield off any contenders. Rush with another throw. Oh, actually, no, we went South Florida's way. Mora trying to play the ball across, can't do it. Rush kicked the ball again into touch. And some of the parents here taking objection to some of the time wasting that the Rush parents are doing. Not collecting the ball, not providing it to our players. As this ball's kicked up in the air, Rush player gets a shoulder to it, and again into touch. And John having to make another long run for the ball, as no Rush player or participant is willing to assist. You hate to see that, folks. As John throws this ball down the line. Goes into touch again. This time going to be a Rush throw. As they throw this ball down, number 4 trying to corral it. Played down. Lano there to receive. Lano playing the ball long. Brought down by number 14 of the Rush. Number 8 plays it into the middle. Don trying to get there. Can't do it. Back to the 56. Again, the dangerous player. John making a run with him. Cross to the middle. Matthew there to parry that one away, but not too far. And this ball is ping-ponging around here. Another cross. This one made contact by number 10 and then cleared by Lana. Nico then adds to that. Rush keep it into play. Matthew kicking it. And it looks like it's going to go out for a throw. Well, some more panic play here, as the Rush continue to come knocking on this South Florida door, which is something that they didn't do the whole first half. As Matthew tries to block that cross, can't do it. Don there to clear it. And the ball goes up the field. Cowell there to play the ball up. Rush player kicks that out of bounds. And actually they're going to say that that went off Kawa. I don't see how. But throw in for the Rush. Now the Rush player takes his time doing some jazzercise on the sideline. Lano kicks this ball up in the air. Nick now with hands all over him. And eventually fouled. And the ball goes past the parents of the Rush again. We can see number 16's got his hands all over him, then jumps up off of him, and then gets a kick in the leg to boot. And we get the free kick. Referee trying to maintain calm on the sideline there. Ball played into space. Rush again. Kick it forward. And into touch. South Florida, again, there's some time here. There's no real reason to panic, as, Rush player decides to kick that ball away. Nothing done by the referee. There's a term for this in soccer. Unfortunately, I can't say it on this broadcast. But it's something along the lines of, you know, Well, I'm not going to say it. It's definitely present here today, folks, which is kind of sad. It looks like the referee is stopping play because there's some arguing on the sidelines between parents. And you hate to see this, folks. One of the referees is actually asking a parent to leave and is stopping play. Well, I have a time to address this as Coach Greg is addressing the parents here at the game. And I'm hoping that the Rush team is doing the same thing. I just wanted to take a minute to inform everybody as to a little bit of my background and what Mad About Soccer is all about. Mad About Soccer started probably about 7-8 years ago with the love of soccer that my son has, Matthew, and our wanting to capture these moments on film and on video and trying to bring them to the world, not only for our remembrance but for others to see the joy of the game that is embodied by our child. So, with that, I've probably seen my fair share of games and badly called games and games that I think went heavily in our favor for one reason or another, both as a parent and as a coach. I coach middle school soccer for our Coral Springs Charter School team here in South Florida, and I've coached a number of teams that my son has participated in, and it's been quite an enjoyment for me. But I can tell you, folks, that getting upset about plays that are being called or things that are happening on the field, I have the unique ability of seeing these games multiple times, and I can tell you that the rarity of a bad call, it's pretty rare. These referees have a very difficult job. It's not easy. They have to make split-second decisions that affect the youth that we're trying to get to enjoy this game as well. It's very difficult for someone of this age to understand the passion that we have, because it's not really about them. It's about our wanting them to succeed, and we feel like the referees on the field may be hampering that in some way. But I'll be honest with you, folks, I don't think that these kids have another thought about these games, or if they do, it's a fleeting memory. What they remember most of all is your experiences as a parent and the pride that you feel in them and how they perform on the field. I think that if you take a moment to think of it in that perspective, it may change your mind in how you react on the field to a bad call, or when some decision is made by a referee, or when another parent is acting in an inappropriate manner, as you'll come to see and find out in the years to come. And I'm not probably speaking to the choir on this, as I'm sure many of you have experienced this from years and years and years of watching your children play. But I can tell you that it's never a good environment for the kids to see parents reacting in that manner. And I know that we're kind of the aggrieved party in this situation. But irregardless, just a food for thought on behalf of Mad About Soccer. And hopefully we can get back to this game and it being an enriching experience for the kids and a big comeback for South Florida. So we'll see what it's like. The referee has decided to allow play to continue as Coach Greg has addressed the parents, and I'm sure everybody's going to take to heart what he has told them. And let's get back to the action. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed, and continue to watch this wonderful game as it plays out, as we got many more highlights to go over. So here we go. We're ready for kickoff, or I shouldn't say kickoff, but restart, as John waits to do the throw-in here from the left side. Down into Nick. Nick trying to create some space, difficult with 5 players surrounding him. And getting some type of call here. Looks like it might be a handball against Brian. Slight as it may be. Long ball down the field to John, chests it down, kicks it back up in the air, finds Nick's foot. Nick shielding the ball, trying to play it out to where he thought Mora would be. And now Rush trying to build an attack. Julian on the ball now, plays it out to Matthew. Matthew trying to take a touch, make a move inside. Took a little bit of a stumble there, loses the ball. And Rush back in possession. Rush don't seem to be as coordinated as they were initially. It seems to be players occupying spaces that they really shouldn't be. Not as spaced out as they were before. And just seem to be giving the ball away now. As Edon again plays this one out to Matthew. Matthew with some time and space. Takes a long pass. Finds Nick. Nick one times it back, looking for Brian. Brian able to cut across a player. but is called for the foul, and you can see the frustration on his face. Thought he was making a good play, stepping in front of the player. I don't know, folks. I think that one could go either way. Maybe not the best call by the ref, but understandable in this heated environment. As Nick comes across to steal this ball, Rush players coming back, trying to guard here. Well, getting a little handsy inside with the number 14. He's able to clear it. Not very far, as the Rush are going to have to settle for just kicking this one out in the touch in front of the camera. John with the throw. Moore bringing it down. Ping-ponging around the ball. And goes into touch for another South Florida throw. Well, things are getting a little hectic here. Time is waning down. Probably got about 10 or 15 minutes left, depending on how much stoppage time they provide as a result of the stoppage in play. Lano playing this one back to the keeper, but it's, a little bit of miscommunication there as Brandon had to poke this one free. Brandon, who has checked in for Valentino, who was on a yellow card. John playing the ball long. It's in the space now. Rush getting back, trying to defend, but this ball goes into touch. And it's going to be a throw for South Florida and Rush territory. Mora throwing the ball in. Nice space open for Nick. Nick trying to cut back inside to get a shot off. Can't do it. Rush, another mistake. Brian in the middle plays it off to Nick, and it looks like it's going to be offsides. Yes, Nick does look like he's in an offside position when he received this ball. Free kick for the Rush. I don't think they're in any hurry to take this, protecting this 2-1 lead. As this ball falls to Matthew, he's having a hard time getting a hold of it, but finally does. Unfortunately, gives it away. Number 10 for Rush, who's got one goal already on the ball, but gives it off to 56. 56 takes a shot. Brandon with the diving save and is able to come up with it. Early action for Brandon as he rolls this ball out to Idon. Idon over to Matthew. Matthew on the sideline, plays it up the field to Martin. Martin with a nice little touch, trying to get around his player. Can't do it, though. No foul call. Number 20 running down the sideline, being harassed by Brian. Brian with a nice step in and then gets tripped for his trouble, winning a free kick for South Florida. Brian getting very physical here. Glad to see it. We need it. We need somebody to amp this team up and get it going. Let's take another look at this save from Brandon. And then we take another look at this tackle here. Now, see, I don't see much of a difference between what Brian just did here and what he was blown for a whistle for earlier. It looked like the same type of activity was going on, but this time it was called for us. All right, South Florida on the free kick. Idon kicking it long. More underneath it, tries to get a foot to it, can't do it. Ball loose in the middle of the field. Rush pick it up. Rush trying to get it forward. Lano kicking it back into action. And it's between the defenders and the goalie right now. Goalie out to collect. And is there a last chance score in here for South Florida to try to even this game up? They've definitely had their opportunities. I bet they're wishing they had some of those back from the first half at this point. But I think there's still another opportunity left to go here, as Matthew is going to be defending this big number 4 as he lumbers down the left side. Matthew and number 4 shoulder to shoulder. And it looks like number 4 is taking it to the corner. And Matthew plays it off the big guy's foot to win a goal kick. He can't believe it. He's in disbelief, ladies and gentlemen. But believe it or not, it's out on you. And I would say that's a good call by the referee. Definitely rolled off the side of his foot and then into touch for a goal kick as Brandon surveys the field. Florida Rush have a number of players forward, which is surprising considering they're leading. You'd figure they'd play more of a defensive posture here in the closing minutes as Nick wrestles to try to win this ball. Martin comes in late and commits the foul from behind. Yeah, not much deliberation there. That's clearly going to be one. All right. Rush lining up on the ball, number 14. He's going to oddly kick it all the way out to the left side of the field. There is a player waiting there. Finding some defenders approaching him. He kicks it back. Nick on the attack now. Ball goes forward. Julian with the ball now. Passes it off to Gavin. Gavin running forward. Gets it off to Kawhi. Kawhi looking for someone, but has that ball belted away from him. And this one is clear over into the other field. No help from the Rush fans. Not expecting any at this point, unfortunately, as they look on. And it looks like the referee's having a good time. As we continue to wait for this ball, looks like John went out to retrieve it. All right, John looking for the long throw. Finds some space between Kawhi and Martin, but it's parried away. And it looks like the Rush just belted it back out of bounds. Quick throw. Nick trying to make something happen here on the corner. And wins another throw. I think he was looking for a corner kick, but throwing will suffice. Throw in, meets Brian. Brian chests it down, trying to create some space, but he is surrounded by Rush players who poke the ball loose. Ball down the sideline to John. John takes the touch inside, plays it calmly back to Edon. Edon up to Julian. Julian moving down the field. Julian to Gavin. We got something working here. Gavin trying to poke through the middle of that pass. Can't get it done. 56 now running up to the ball. 56 is definitely a dangerous player, but he runs right into Lano. Looks like he steps on his foot. And yeah, he gets a piece of his ankle as he goes through. Whether that be intentional or not, that's got to hurt. And Edon quickly puts this one down the field, but into the defenders. Number 20 playing the ball long. Looking for 56. Nice tackle by Lano. And is he getting called for a foul on this? Oh, man. That looked pretty clean to me. I get that the player went over his foot afterwards, but that comes with the territory. As this ball's played long, Matthew intercepts. Plays it over to Julian. Julian to Brian. Brian back to Matthew. Nice little give and go action here as Matthew takes off down the sideline. Puts a long ball. Oh, this is in front of the defenders. Nick's chests it down. Goalie's out of the box. Shot! Oh, just wide. Just wide of the goal. As we take another look, this ball is beautifully placed just in front of the defenders. Nick able to wrestle his way between them, chests it, gets it down. Goalie came out to no avail. Oh, man. It doesn't come much closer than that, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful effort by Nick to create something out of that. Beautiful pass by Matthew. Fortunately, oh, a little bit of luck here. Kawhi intercepts that goal kick. How about the Rush recover? Rush running down the field. South Florida desperately trying to get the ball back now. Time is ticking away. Matthew up against this number 20, the spry number 20. But Matthew able to recover, and looks like he's going to win this ball back, and does. Julian now on the ball. Julian trying to create space. Gets pushed down to the ground. No foul called. Number 10 from Rush tries to play it in. Can't do it. Brian plays it out to Matthew. Matthew's got his head up again. He puts another ball up down the field. Finds Martin. Martin trying to create space. Puts the ball into Nick. Nick one touches it. Looking for Gavin. Gavin trips over the ball. Trying to get back in possession. 56 wrestles it away from him. Here goes the Rush. Rush pushing the ball forward. Really no need to, as Edon intercepts that one. And it gets taken away. Gavin now playing the ball back to John. John looking down the sideline, sees Kawa. Or I'm sorry, gets it to Gavin, then Gavin to Kawa. Kawa takes a pass, but it deflects off of the Rush player. And then they kick it into touch. Really surprising play here by the Rush. I would think that they would try to get back into their possession mode instead of just trying to force this ball forward and not having enough attackers giving the ball away. Oh, it's another bad foul by number 14. And that one's going to register a yellow card. As Gavin takes this pass quickly, referee's going to blow it back. Take another look at the foul here. Yeah, I don't know where he was going for, but it wasn't the ball. All right, so South Florida now to retake the free kick. Julian's lining up on the ball. Shorts torn and tattered. Puts it into the box. Edon trying to get there. Goalie punches it away. Julian's going to get a second shot at this. Plays it up. And it's going to go out in touch. All right, Rush now back on the ball. Throwing it forward. Julian's there. Gavin's trying to get a foot to it. Does, but not enough. 56 for the Rush. Puts it back across the middle. Rush again with options back, but choosing not to do that and instead trying to push this ball forward. I guess the best defense is an offense as they rally down the right line and make a cross in. Ford gets ahead to it, but it is over the goal. Wow. That could have been number 3. Brandon was off his line trying to get there, but nobody was going to beat that number 4. I don't know if Brandon made contact with Matthew in the process, but Ford definitely got ahead to it, just not in the right place. As the ball is rolled out to Lano, and Lano plays it up the field. Ball down the left side, but not good enough as it's out for a throw. Got about 10 minutes left in this ball game, and that's all she wrote. Throw down the line. Matthew trying to control and does. Gets it off to Julian. Julian playing it across now. Gets it to John. John over to Kawa. And then Kawa down the field looking for Nick. Can't find him. Gavin to Kawa. Kawa into the middle of the field. Rush back on the attack now. 56 against Edon. Edon letting him take it to the outside. Edon's going to win that challenge 9 times out of 10, maybe even 10 out of 10 times. As Edon brings this ball back up to Brian. Brian trying to get a pass off, fighting for his life, can't get free. And eventually wins the ball back. Nick now in the ball. Nick trying to play it out to the right side. We have got all kinds of problems. Rush come away with that one. Matthew backing up, now attacking. Pass goes off. Lano there to cover on the number 4. Number 4 scrambles loose. Matthew there to cover up on him. And it's going to be a fight. He's taking it off to the corner again. Oh, that one looks like it should have been a goal kick, but awarded a corner. Rush on the corner. I'm assuming they're going to take this short. Really no incentive, and they did. 4 now. Going to use that big frame to try to shield the ball to waste more time. As Martin kicks this ball away. Throw in for the Rush now. And they get it to their other second biggest player, number 10. Who again Martin is locking horns with. And again, they believe they're going to win a throw. Here we go again. Number 4. Trying to shield the ball. Not going to happen that time with Edon coming to knock you down. And Edon winning the goal kick. Plays it out to John. John with yards of space. Plays it over to Kawa. Kawa getting shut down immediately. Nice little nutmeg move. Gets around his defender. And the ball is out of bounds. Well, they don't teach this one at South Florida Football Academy. Nice little nutmeg. Right past the defender. Putting Kawa into a good area. Just nobody to pass it to forward. But wins the throw in, and he's off to Nick. Ball played long. John there to put it back. Ball goes a little sideways on him, but Lano's there to recover it. As Lano's got his head up, he plays this ball into the middle. Looking for Nick, but it was chested down by number 14. Players are asking for a handball, not going to get it as Gavin comes away with this one, plays it over to Kawa. John now on the ball. John up the field considerably. Looking around, sees Nick, but it's not a hard enough pass as it's intercepted by the Rush. Edon now taking his time, trying to lure that number 4 into a sense of complacency as Brandon plays it back to Edon. Edon now with some space. Nobody wants to seem to challenge him. He plays this ball long and up the field. Cameraman's going a little dizzy. Brian over to Matthew. Matthew now trying to cut inside. Gets the ball taken away. Now trying to recover. Ball played down the line. Looks like Lano is going to get there with no problem. He plays that one back to the keeper, Brandon. And Brandon plays it long up the field. Martin gets ahead to it. Finds Brian. Brian trying to cut back inside. Can't find Martin. Ball gets past Matthew. Back to Edon. Edon up the field. Frantic passes here from South Florida. As the Rush are trying to put something together, looks like there's going to be an offside call. And we're going to retain possession. Can't really tell from this angle, but it clearly looks like number 4 is behind the defensive line. Just I can't imagine if that's where he is when the ball was played to him. As Adon takes the free kick quickly to John. South Florida trying to get back into a scoring position. Ball up the field. Nick heads it forward. Finds Brian. Brian's got some space here. And he chips it into the box, thinking Nick was making a slanting run, but no run was there. As Lano comes away with this one, passes it over to Matthew. Matthew back to Lano. Lano to Julian. Julian trying to run with the ball. Can't make it very far. Rush again on the attack. Rush finally playing the ball back, but again forward. Matthew now locking up with number 4 again, as it looks like there's another foul called. And I can't see how number 4 was offside on this one, but there was a flag up. So, South Florida may have gotten away with one there. Not sure. But it looks like the referee is trying to have a conversation with the sideline judge, who appears to be engaged with the fans on the sideline. All right, back in action. Lano on the ball. Plays this ball into the box. Rush keeper comes out to collect. Nobody really in there except for Nick. There's a little bit of concern considering we're down by 1 and there's little less than 5 minutes left to play here. Referee, it was indicating, yeah, it was a offside call in a hurry up. So here we go. Rush keeper taking the long punt back into South Florida territory. Number 4 trailing behind. Adon smartly heads it back to the keeper, Brandon. Brandon plays it out to Adon. Adon up the middle to Gavin. Gavin, one touch to Julian. Julian with a little bit of space plays it up to Martine. Martine now running up the right sideline. He's got yards. He places it up into the box. 16 parries it away. Keeper comes out to grab. All right, well, here we go. See how much time is ticked off the clock here as we wait for the punt, and there it is. Adon heads it, but it goes straight up in the air. He's telling John to back off. He's got it. Heads it again back to Brandon. Brandon able to collect. Plays it back out to Adon. Adon now with time and space. Number 4 coming over to pressure. Ooh, dangerous ball across the middle to Julian. Julian having to slide past that over to Lano. Lano being attacked by the number 10. He gets it off to Matthew. Matthew cutting it back. Plays it into Nick. Nick trying to one-touch it to Brian. Just can't get there. And here we go back the other way. Number 4 coming down with it. He's got no help, but is going to be able to shield off Adon for the most part. But Adon able to get his foot there before the pass. And now the Rush playing down the right side of their own field. John able to come away with that ball. John trying to make something happen, gets attacked. The number 4 player is down on the ground. I don't know why. Nobody really made contact with him. And Brandon, the keeper, has this ball in hand. People on the sidelines are looking for the referee to stop play, and he does. Which is kind of odd because it's not even the Rush's ball. But you can see here that one of the sideline parents is indicating to the number 4 player, who seems perfectly fine, and then when he gets that cue, he goes down grabbing his hamstring. That's a little odd, considering he seemed to be fine. I don't know if that's more time wasting. I think that's a little childish, to be honest with you. A child-level game, surprisingly. As the Rush come away with this one, the number 4 is walking over to the other side. He seems to be fine. Just a way for them to get a substitution on, I imagine. As this ball goes into touch for another goal kick. Don lining up on the ball. Plays it long. Number 10 gets ahead to it. Brian comes down with it, passes it to Julian. Off to Lano. Lano over to Adon. Adon looking around. Passes it up to Gavin. Gavin to John. John up the field. Looking for Nick. Nick may have got away with one here. Let's see. Nick's in the box. Looking for somebody. Tries to cross it. Ends up taking out the feet of the Rush player who kicks it out of bounds for a corner. Referees indicated this is going to be the last play of the game. Here comes the corner. Don tried to get ahead to it. Lionel looks like he's going to get back on top of it. Referee is checking, and this ball is going over the goal, and that's going to be it, folks. Well, valiant effort yet again by South Florida. Had the game 1-0 at the half. blocked the penalty, seemed to be in total control of this game. Rush came back on in the second half with some changes in personnel and made a big difference, scoring a goal early, and then a few minutes later, off of a bit of a mistake, they scored a second goal. So we can't account for that, and there's an old saying in soccer, the team that makes the fewest mistakes typically ends up winning the game. And that can be said for this game as well. Again, about the stoppage in play earlier in the game, apologize for that. Unfortunately, the referees do have a job to do, and that's to protect the children on the field. And I think it was right for them to stop the game because there was some heated moments, let's say, that could potentially have spilled onto the field. So kudos to them for taking the action that they did, and also kudos to Coach Greg for coming over and addressing the families and the parents on the field. Things had to be said and things had to be done. Tempers do raise high, as we said before. We know that we're all out here and we're in the best interest of our children and trying to get what's best for them. And sometimes we see the officials on the field as an impediment to that, but they are only doing their job, and I think that we all realize that in the end of the day. So once again, we thank you for joining us here at Mad About Soccer. We hope that you click like and subscribe, and we hope to see you again next time for South Florida Football Academy's next game, which is a home game against Idea Sport. Idea Sport from the Orlando area. They previously matched up with South Florida earlier this season. Ended up losing that game, I believe, 4-0, if I'm correct. So we're hoping that it's going to come back and be a bigger challenge for us at our home field in the next week or so. So I hope to see you then. Have a great day. Click like and subscribe. Mad About Soccer, and thank you for watching.